welcome to Multicultural's Community Hour. In this segment, we are talking about civic issues in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Animal Services Agency invites everyone to visit homeless dogs and give them treats and snuggles. Christmas Day Fun will be held on Sunday, December 25th from 12 to 3 p.m. My guest today is Leland Gordon, General Manager of Animal Services in Winnipeg. He is going to tell us the details about the upcoming event and how to prepare for adopting a new dog. Hello, Leland. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, Leland, please tell us what people can expect if they go to the Christmas Day Fun.
Well, it's a nice event where people can come and visit homeless dogs. They can give treats to our dogs. They can play outside with the dogs. And we have 2 play yards. The dogs will be outside. And then, of course, they can snuggle with the dogs for the people who like to snuggle dogs.
What are you feeling before the upcoming event, and what are your expectations for Sunday?
My expectations are I'm excited, our team is excited, our volunteers are excited, and I'm sure the community is excited. So it's a lot of fun, and my expectations are a lot of people will show up. A bunch of those people will bring donations to our agency, which we're grateful for. We do send some surplus donations to northern communities in Manitoba. But it's warm and fuzzy, and I think the world needs more positivity, and a real positive event like this is, I think, great for our community.
And how did you come up with this bright idea to organize the Christmas Day Fun?
So years ago, we've always had a crew of staff and volunteers come to Animal Services on Christmas Day in the morning and the afternoon to care for the dogs, a very small crew. And so back in about 5 years ago, we thought, wouldn't it be nice to invite our residents and supporters out from the community to spend time with the dogs while we do that? And so we've opened that up. And one of the first times we had over 300 people show up. And it was really nice to see so much joy that our dogs were receiving, but also so many happy faces of all these residents that got to do something really fun on Christmas Day.
How many people do you expect to see this year?
There's a Facebook event. So if you're actually going, go to Winnipeg Animal Services on Facebook and join that event and say you're going. But right now it looks like there's close to, I think it's like around 90 people going. Mm-hmm. But then there's also hundreds of people interested in going. So we expect a few hundred people to actually show up. And we're grateful for the support and we're looking forward to it.
What items or food can visitors bring to the Christmas Day Fun?
We have a wish list, and the wish list people go to the City of Winnipeg's website, which is winnipeg.ca, and they go into the Animal Services section. We have our full wish list posted there. It's also on our social media channels, so it's Winnipeg Animal Services on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Common items on our list are like canned dog food, chewy dog treats, even liquid laundry detergent. So we have a list online, and so that I encourage people to go online and see the full list.
What does it mean to be a responsible pet owner? Because I guess not too many people would actually take the time to look up on the internet how they can take better care of their animal friends. More often than not, a huge number of people only care about the benefit of owning a pet and fail to prepare themselves for the responsibilities of being a pet parent.
So being a responsible pet owner is very simple, and most people do it right. But what it means is your pet has little or no effect on the community. It means you follow in Winnipeg the responsible pet ownership bylaw. So that's our bylaw here in Winnipeg for animals. And some of the key pieces of that are licensing your dog and cat, providing regular vaccinations for your pet through your veterinarian. And then, of course, as we all know, there's lots of pets that are unwanted in animal shelters and rescues. And if people feel sorry for those dogs and cats that are in animal shelters, then it's important you spay and neuter your pet. And spay and neutering, as we know, can be done at a local veterinarian. If you're a low-income resident and you need help in Winnipeg getting your pet spayed and neutered, the City of Winnipeg provides funding to our friends at the Winnipeg Humane Society to help low-income residents get their dogs and cats fixed. So if you're a low-income resident, you can call over there and they'll provide some help. So and then of course, keeping your pet for its entire life, right? When people decide to get a dog or cat, that needs to be a lifelong commitment, which means if you know, dogs or cats, 10 to 15 years, right? And if you're not prepared to do that, then we encourage people to wait to get a pet.
Do you think that public is educated enough about adopting a new dog?
I think we do lots of things to educate the public. Our local veterinarians do lots to educate the public, and other animal shelters and rescues do. I think that most people in any major city in Canada are very responsible pet owners. It's a small group of people that need help, and sometimes they just don't understand or choose to be irresponsible pet owners. And we educate those people as much as possible, and then hopefully they'll have positive outcomes.
Can you tell us more about programs the Animal Services Agency have to increase public education and being an excellent pet parent?
Right, so we go to about 20 to 30 events a year in the community, educating our community. We work very closely with the media. We're on TV and radio every month talking about adoption, but also talking about responsible pet ownership. We have a strong newsletter that we put out in our community. We have our enforcement officers out in the community, our animal services officers. Not only are they enforcing, but they're also educating when they make contact with residents in our community. We have our volunteer program. We also have our outreach position here where we can have school groups come to animal services and other community groups to educate them. So we have a robust education program, and a lot of that information, by the way, if people go to winnipeg.ca, the City of Winnipeg's website, and you go into the animal services section, there's lots of educational messaging on our page regarding how to be a responsible pet owner.
And how to make sure that the person is ready for a dog?
Well, so the things people really need to ask are, first, do you have a stable home? Like, do you have a stable home? Are you financially able to take care of yourself and a dog and a cat? Are you prepared to pay for the veterinary care? Veterinary care, vaccines is not cheap. Are you prepared to keep your pet for life? Which means that 10 to 15 years. You know, occasionally we'll hear people that want to get rid of their dogs and cats because they're moving to an apartment that doesn't allow pets, right? Well, if you had children, you probably wouldn't move to an apartment that doesn't allow children, right? So we need people to understand that getting a pet is like adding a child. It's something you need to care for its entire life. Right now, I'm sure we've all seen on the media that animal shelters and rescues are struggling across Canada with a handful of people who got pets during the pandemic and no longer want them. And animal shelters are full, rescues are full. And so that's because some people decided not to keep the pet for life. Some people may have economic problems, which we're empathetic to. But ultimately, when you need to be in a very strong position with a stable home, a good financial position, and that commitment to care for a dog or cat for its entire life.
How long is the adoption process, and what will be my first step toward adopting a dog?
Well, so if people are interested in adopting, the easiest thing to do is go online. You go to winnipeg.ca, animal services section, and see what dogs we have for adoption. So there's pictures online and little write-ups about the dogs. We also feature those animals on our social media channels. Ask yourself all those questions as far as you're ready. Then you just come down to animal services, and we're typically open 7 days a week. We are closed holidays, of course. And our staff would screen you to make sure you're a match for the dog. Make sure the dog is a match for you, and then you can spend some time with the dog, and then they go ahead with the adoption process. But we also have our doggy date program where people can actually check out a dog like a library book. And what that means is they can take the dog out for a day, a weekend, or a week on a date, and there's no commitment. So if it's not the perfect dog for them, they can also bring it back. And so that's a program we have, because again, adding a dog or cat to your home, that's a lifelong commitment. So we want to ensure that if somebody's adopting, that it's the right dog for them.
But how do you make sure that the person is financially secure to have a dog?
We ask questions, right?
Yeah.
We ask them questions. We bring up how expensive it can be to care for a dog, and we ask questions to verify that they're in a position to afford a dog.
Thank you, Leland. I think with that we are going to conclude today's discussion.
Yeah, if people want more information on anything the City of Winnipeg Animal Services does, go to winnipeg.ca, go into the Animal Services section, or like Winnipeg Animal Services on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Thank you, our audience, for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed. If you like the episode, please like, share, and subscribe to see our upcoming episode.